Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video we are just going to make a normal employee management system application in which I am going to use Spring Boot as our backend and React I am going to use it as front end. And basically in the first lecture I am going to deal with Spring Boot code and the Postman. So I am just going to send some data using HTTP post request, okay, to our database. Okay, and in the later videos I'm just going to implement the front end part of this application. So now first let's see what we are going to do as part of our first lecture.
As part of this lecture, we are going to send some data using Postman. Okay, so here this is my API, and here I am sending the HTTP post request. Okay, and inside this I am giving this data. Okay, first name as developer, last name as coder, and this email ID. Okay, so as soon as click on this send button, you will see that I will see the status as 201 created. Okay, so now if I just check in my DB, okay, I run this query, select star from employee table. So I see that this entry is loaded. Okay, now if I just click on the send button again, you will see some other status. So now I am getting the status as 500 internal server error. Okay, so now why so? So actually in my backend code, I have added that my email ID should be unique. Okay, so that is why we are getting 500 internal server error. Okay, so now just if I just modify this email ID and then again hit the send button, then you will see that status is 201 created. Okay, and when I just run this query again, so a new entry is loaded in my DB. Okay, so this is what we are going to do as part of this lecture. Okay, as part of this Spring Boot backend. Okay, and later on we are going to create a get API. Okay, and other APIs. Okay, so as part of this lecture we are just going to create a simple HTTP post request. Okay, so now without any delay, let's get started with the Spring Boot backend code first. Okay, then later on we will implement the React part. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so let's get started. So first thing that you need to do here, so you have to create a boilerplate code. Okay, so just go to this website start.spring.io. Okay, so here you have to just create your boilerplate of your code using Spring Initializer. So here I am going to select my project as Maven. My language that I'm going to use Java. Spring Boot version that I'm going to use is 3.3.2. And in the project metadata, just give the any group. Okay, you can give anything. So here I'm just going to give com.developer.coder, and here since I'm creating the employee management system application, so I'm just going to give it as EMS. Okay, and here in the description you can give any description. So here I'm just going to write employee management system. Okay, and here a few of the dependencies that we need for this project. So first thing that we are going to use is Lombok. It is nothing but Java annotation library which helps to reduce boilerplate code. Okay, then also we need Spring Web. Okay, so Spring Web, it is used to build web including RESTful applications, right? And we need JPA. Okay, so just search for Spring Data JPA. It is used to persist data in SQL stores with Java Persistence API. Okay, and we are also going to use H2 database because it provides a fast in-memory database that supports JDBC API and R2DBC access. Okay, so we are not going to use any other DB like Oracle or MongoDB. Okay, so we are just going to store the data in the cache memory. Okay, so for that particular reason, I'm just going to use this H2 database. Okay, so it is nothing but a fast in-memory database. Okay, so once this is done, you have to just click on this generate. Okay, so now zip file will be downloaded to your local machine. Okay, so just go to this zip file. Okay, so I'm just going to copy it in the my D drive. Okay, you can copy it anywhere. So here I have created one folder. Okay, EMS. So here I'm just going to paste it, and once this compressed zip file is there in your local, okay, this folder is in your local, just extract all. Okay, So I'm just going to extract it in this particular location. I'm just going to name it as EMS only. Okay, just click on extract. Okay, and then just remove the zip folder. Okay, so here you will see the basic structure. Okay, EMS, and then in src main java com. Okay, the package that we have created, developer coder EMS application. Okay, so this is created. Okay, simple code. Okay, using spring initializer. Okay, so once this is done, then after that few other things that we need to take care. Okay, so first, since I'm using java 17, so I hope that you guys have java 17 available in your local. So just okay, so here in your directory just write java hyphen version. Okay, to check the version of the java that you guys are using. So here I am using jdk 17. Okay, and we have to check the maven version as well. So here just write maven hyphen hyphen version. Okay, so it is going to give you the apache maven version. Okay, so if you guys don't have this, then I suggest you guys to just install. So how to do that? So just search here for jdk 17. Okay, so just go to this page. Okay, here jdk 17, click on this one, go to windows and just download this from here. Okay, if you are using windows. Okay, so just click on this link, then install it. Okay, and once you install the java, okay, then you have to do few things. Okay, in your local, so you have to edit environment variables for your account. Okay, so just go to this site. Okay, just this page. Okay, just search for edit environment variables for your account. Go here, and inside here you have to write this, give this variable java underscore home, and you have to give this variable value. Okay, so C program files java jdk 17. Okay, so by default your jdk 17 will be downloaded to this place. Okay, jdk C program files java jdk. Okay, you have to give this. Okay, and in the path also you have to give this path. Okay, to your bin folder. Okay, C program files java jdk 17. Okay, this is for java. Now same way you have to install apache maven as well. So just go to your browser and click on apache maven, and here click on the first link, and here go to this download button, and from here you can install any, okay, any zip file. Okay, so any version. I'm using 3.9.8. Okay, you can use any other upper version. Okay, no issues there. So just install this, and once this is downloaded, okay, so by default it is going to be stored in your C program files. uh, Here there is maven folder, and by default it will be located in this location. Okay, apache maven. Okay, so once this is done, then again you have to go to this edit environment variables for your account, and here you have to specify this variable m2. Okay, inside this you have to give this variable value. Okay, in m2 underscore home this value. Okay, and maven underscore home this value. Okay, and uh, in the path also you have to add this. Okay, until bin. Okay, then you have to just restart this command prompt, or you can just restart your PC again, and then try to search for this java hyphen version and maven hyphen hyphen version. Okay, and also I am going to use IntelliJ community idea community edition. Okay, so if this is not there in your local, then please install this. Okay, so for this also I am giving some values here. So if you just go to edit environment variables for your account, so here this is the value that I'm giving. Okay, id IntelliJ idea community edition. Okay, so here inside this I'm just giving this path. Okay, until my bin. Okay, so this is what you need to give. Okay, so this is just a basic setup. Actually I don't want to cover as part of this video, but still. Okay, so now let's move to the coding part. Okay, so now we have downloaded our code, our basic boilerplate code here in the EMS. Okay, here. Okay, okay, so once this is done, now I'm just going to load my project in the IntelliJ. Okay, so just go there, IntelliJ idea community edition. Okay, so here I'm just going to click on open, and here I just need to give the path. Okay, so my this folder is in D GitHub projects EMS. Okay, so here I'm just going to select this path and click on OK. then it is going to load the project in my id. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom it here. So right now it is loading all the things. Okay, the what are the dependencies that I have, so it is going to add all the dependencies. Okay, just go to this src directory. Okay, main, we have this java folder. Okay, and inside this is our application. Okay, and also there is one pom.xml file. Okay, so here you can see the dependencies. Okay, so here like a spring boot data jpa we need, so we have added the dependency here in pom.xml file. Spring boot starter web. Okay, so this is a dependency. h2 database, this is a dependency, right? And we have this lombok dependency. Okay, so all these dependencies are there. Okay, so now this is my application. Okay, so if I just go and run this application. Okay, let's give it some time. It is right now building. Okay, so see here, we just started. Okay, so now, okay, so now this, see here, tomcat started on port 8080. Okay, so now if I just go to my this browser. Okay, let me just remove this stuff, we don't need this now. So here just type localhost. Okay, by default it is going to be 8080. Okay, so if I just click here, so you will see this message, white label error page. Okay, so we are able to see this message. Okay, so right now our application is started, right? It on the server 8080. Okay, now after that what we need to do here, we have to create the entities, repository, service. Okay, simple, this is best practice. Okay, so entity, what is entity? Also entity is just going to represent a table in your database. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, inside this package, I'm going to create a new package. Okay, and I'm going to name this package as the entity. Okay, so here I'm going to write it as entity. Okay, I'm going to use this package entity, and inside this entity package I'm going to create a new class. Okay, java class, and I'm going to name this class as employee. Okay, so here just write employee. Okay, so inside this employee class, what we need to do here, we have to create a table. Okay, the table structure that we need. So first let's understand what is entity. Okay, so an entity represents a table in your database. It is a class which is annotated with @entity. Okay, that maps to a specific database tables with fields corresponding to columns in that table. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, let's suppose in my table I want one ID of the employee, I want the first name of the employee, I want the last name of the employee, and I want the email of the employee. Okay, so let's create those. Okay, so here I'm just going to write private long ID. Okay, and I want the first name of the employee. So for that I'm just going to write private string first name. Okay, and I want the last name of my employee. So here I'm just going to write private string last name. Okay, and I want the email of the employee. So here I'm just going to write private string email. Okay, so these are just the columns, okay, that I need. Okay, so here first thing I have to specify that this is my entity. Okay, that is with if we specify it as entity, then it will treat it as a one table. Okay, entity represents a table in your database. Okay, simple meaning. And I want to treat this ID, okay, as my primary key. Okay, so for that I have to specify this annotation ID. Okay, and I want this column to generate the values automatically. Okay, I don't want to assign the give the values. Okay, so here I am just going to use the annotation as @generated value. Okay, and inside this I'm just going to give the strategy. Okay, the strategy that I want to implement. Okay, and here inside this strategy I'm just going to type generation type as generation type dot identity. Okay, this is done. And now let's suppose that you want to see the first name, okay, as first underscore name. Okay, so by default it's going to be look like this only, first name. Okay, but if you want to change want to show your column in some other name, okay, so for that you can just write this annotation at the rate column. Okay, and here you just need to specify the name, okay, how you want to represent it. Okay, so here just need write like this. Okay, first underscore name. Okay, same way if you want to see the last name like this. Okay, last underscore name. So here you have to specify at the rate column, and name is equal to last underscore name. Okay, and same way for email you need to specify it as, okay, so let's say you want to see it as email only. So here I'm just going to write it as at the rate column, name is equal to email only, but here I want to specify few things. Okay, I want my email to be unique every time for all the users, and it should not be null. Okay, so here I'm just going to write null label is equal to false, and I'm going to specify unique should be true. Okay, this is what we need to do. And we are using the Lombok. Okay, we if we don't use the Lombok library, then we have to give the getter and setter methods, okay, constructors, all that thing. But since I am using the Lombok library, so here I'm just going to simply write at the rate getter. Okay, so I no need to write getter and setter method manually. Okay, getter setter. Okay, and here I am just going to give no arg constructor, and I am also going to give all args constructor. Okay, this is done. Now just save it. Okay, so this is nothing but my employee class. Okay, so here that's what we need to do here. Okay, now after that in the application properties, since I'm using the h2 db now, so here I have to write up some properties to link my application to h2 db. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, just search for h2 db properties. Okay, h2 db application properties. Okay, let's pick the pattern that we need. Spring Boot with h2 database. Okay, let's see if their properties are here or not. Okay, so we need these properties. Okay, so let me just copy these properties. Okay, and just go to your okay, paste it here. So here inside these few things that we need to update are like spring.datasource.url. So here just give jdbc colon h2 colon mem. Here just change the name of the db. Okay, so let's suppose that I want this db employee db. Okay, this is the one change that I'm doing. And then after that this is the driver class name. Okay, so let's leave it same. Then username is going to be sa. Okay, by default let's leave it. I don't want to give any password here. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. Okay, and then a spring jpa database platform. Okay, so use this. Then also few more things that I need to do here. So here just write spring dot jpa dot hibernate. Okay, and here ddl auto, and I'm going to just set it to update. Okay, so by default let's suppose a table is not there, so it is going to just create the table automatically, okay, by its own. And here one more property that I need to specify here is spring.h2 dot console dot enabled. Okay, it should be true. It should be true. Okay, that's it. Now just save it. Okay, now I have saved it. Now if you just go to your browser, and here search for localhost colon 8080 slash h2 hyphen console. Okay, so let's see if we are able to see anything. Let me just restart it. Okay, so I am pausing it, and let's just run it again. Go to this ems application and run this file again and see.
Okay, so our application started, so let's see. Okay, so here h2 console available at h2 hyphen console. Okay, so here our console is available. Okay, so let's try to run this again. Okay, so now it is there. Okay, so now here JDBC h2 mem employee db. Okay, so hope this is the url that you are giving. Okay, since we are using this in the application dot properties now. So here just go to this application dot properties. So this is the url that we are giving. Okay, so inside this I am creating this table. Okay, in the entity I have specified this entity employee. Okay, so here just test the connection first. So test is successful. Now click on the connect. Okay, so I have connected to this one. Now go to this employee. Okay, so here you see that id is there, email is there, first name is there, last name is here, right? So right now there is no data inside this. Okay, so this is the table that is created automatically and these are the fields. Okay, so I hope that this is clear. Okay, so now once this is done, okay, then after that we have to create the repository. Okay, so what is repository? So a repository is an interface responsible for data access. Okay, it typically extends the spring data jpa repository and provides CRUD operations and other data access methods for an entity. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to create a repository package. Okay, inside this just go to new and click on the package and let's name it as repository. Okay, enter. And now inside this I'm just going to create a interface. Let's name this interface as employee repository. So right click, new, and here java class, here I'm going to create an interface. Let's name it as employee repository. Okay, done. Click on enter. Okay, so now we have created this interface. Okay, so here we are just going to type extends. Okay, this is going to extends my jpa repository. Okay, so here write jpa repository. Okay, and inside this jpa repository I need to specify few things. Okay, inside this jpa repository, so what are the things that I want to specify? Okay, I want to give the name of my employee. Okay, entity employee, and inside this employee I need to give the data type of my primary key. Okay, so data type of my id is my primary key and the data type of that primary key is nothing but long, right? So this is done. So this is what we need to do. Okay, so here you can see actually we are extending it from jp repository. Okay, this interface, because there are some methods that save method is there. Okay, other methods. So just if you just go here, okay, go to superclass or interface. Okay, so see here this interface. So using this we can call these methods. Okay, delete in batch. Okay, all these different methods, get by id. Okay, so all these methods, find all. Okay, there are many methods that are available inside our this jpa repository class. Okay, so we are just going to extend it. Okay, it usually provides the CRUD operations and the other data access methods for an entity. Okay, so that's the simple meaning of this one. Okay, that's it. That's it. We don't need to write anything else. Okay, once this is done, then we have to create a service layer. Okay, service layer for our application. So what is service layer? Okay, so a service class contains the business logic of your application. Okay, so it is a layer between the controller and the repository, often annotated with the @service. Okay, it handles application business rules and interactions between the different entities. Okay, so let's create one service package. Right click, go to this new, and here click on package, and let's name the package as service. Okay, so inside this service what I need to do? Okay, so inside this service I have to create an interface first, and let's name that interface as employee service. New, and go to java class. Okay, here interface, and I'm going to name this
interface as employee service. Okay, employee service. Okay, click on enter. Okay, so now once this is done, okay, employee service interface. Now what I need to do here, okay, we have to write few things inside this. Okay, but first let's create a controller layer and DTO we are going to use. Okay, so let's create that side by side. Okay, first, so here I'm just going to create a few packages. Let's name it as controller. Okay, so controller. Okay, controller we need, right? And then after that, what we need one employee detail as well, right? So just do that. Okay, so click on enter. So controller we created, then we need to create, go to new package, and here let's name it as DTO. Okay, DTO is nothing but data transfer object. Okay, I will explain it later on. So DTO we need. Okay, so first thing, what is DTO? Okay, so let's understand what is DTO. So DTO is nothing but a data transfer object. Okay, so a DTO is an object that carries data. Okay, that carries the data. Okay, it is used to transfer the data from the client to the server, or vice versa, without exposing the internal structure of the entities. Okay, DTO helps in controlling what data should be exposed and how it should be formatted. Okay, all this stuff. So inside this DTO, I'm just going to create one class. Let's name it as employee DTO Java class. So here just name it as employee DTO. Okay, and click on enter here, employee DTO. Okay, and now what you need to do here, so inside this employee DTO, you have to just simply write what are the different data that you need. You need ID, you need the first name, you need the last name, you need the email from the client. Okay, all these things. So here I'm just going to create the variables, right? Private long ID. Okay, we need private string first name. Okay, we need private string, that should be capital, string last name we need. Then we need the email. Okay, private string email. Okay, now we are using the getter setter. Okay, we are using the lombok library. Okay, so we don't need to manually generate the getter setter method using this generate getter setter. We don't need to do all this stuff. We are just going to write at the rate getter at the rate setter. Okay, this is the use of this lombok library. Okay, no args constructor. Okay, then we have to pass all args constructor. Okay, all these things we need to do here. Okay, this is done. So this is nothing but my employee DTO class. Okay, so now, okay, this is DTO. Okay, now we need also one mapper now. Or mapper, what is mapper? Or mapper is a utility class or interface used to convert between different object types, typically between entities and DTOs. Okay, because this is going to be visible to my client. Okay, data, this is going to be visible to my client, let's say, and this is going to be the real structure. Okay, okay, so I have to convert the data now from employee DTO to employee. Okay, all that stuff. So for that, let's create one new package. Let's name it as mapper. Okay, new package, let's name it as mapper. Okay, so inside this mapper, just let's create one class employee.mapper. Okay, so click here, new, and let's name it Java class, and let's name it as employee mapper. Okay, E capital employee mapper. Okay, so this is the class. Okay, now inside this what we need to do, so let's see. So here I am just going to write one method here, public static. Okay, and return type is going to be employee DTO. Okay, so this is nothing but my return type. Okay, and the name of my method is going to be, let's say, map to employee DTO. Okay, map to employee DTO. Okay, this is my
method. Okay, so inside this method I am passing what I am passing the details that are coming from employee. Okay, so employee, you can say that this employee is nothing but my data type. Okay, and in this we have the structure. Okay, we have the employee details, all the details that we have. Okay, so from employee there is some data that I have. Okay, now I want to convert this data to employee DTO. Okay, since my return type is employee DTO here, so what I need to do here, we have to just return new employee DTO. And in this employee DTO, what are the things that I need to pass? I need to pass the data that is coming from employee. So I have to pass the employee ID, employee first name, okay, all that stuff. So here I'm just going to write employee dot get ID. Okay, and employee dot get first name. Okay, then I have to write employee dot get last name. Then I have to write here employee dot get email. Okay, all this stuff. This is what we are returning, right? Okay, so 1 second. Get email. Okay, so here just close this. Okay, this is done. Here this should be closed here, and here I need to do this. Okay, so now this is done. Okay, same way we need to write for we need to write the return method for this employee. Okay, if we want to convert the data from employee DTO to employee. Okay, so here I'm going to create one more method. Okay, and I'm just going to name that method as public static, and this time my return type is going to be employee. Okay, I need that data in the employee format. Okay, so here I'm just going to name this as map to employee. Map to employee. Okay, and here let's say I'm passing the data from employee DTO. Okay, so here I'm just going to write employee DTO, and let's say this is going to contain, okay, employee DTO is, you can treat this as my what say data type. Okay, this is variable. Okay, and this contains all the information that is required by that is there in employee DTO. Okay, and I have to return the data to employee. Okay, so same way, same thing here. So now I have to write here return new employee. Okay, and inside this employee I have to pass few things. From employee DTO I need to get ID. From employee DTO I need to get the first name. From employee DTO I need to get the last name. From employee DTO I need to get the email. Okay, all these things I need here. Just close it here, that's it. Okay, this is done, save it. Okay, this is nothing but my mapper class. Okay, so I hope that you guys are clear with this one. Okay, now mapper is done. Okay, our DTO is done. Okay, now let's go to this service layer. Okay, employee service. Okay, this class, this interface. Okay, so here what I'm going to do here, I am inside this interface, employee service interface. I'm going to write here public. Okay, then employee DTO, I'm going to give employee DTO, and here I'm just going to call this method create new employee. Okay, I'm going to call this method, and inside this method, okay, so I'm creating new employee. So from where my details are coming? My details are coming from one client. Okay, so client is sending the data to employee DT only. Okay, so here I'm writing employee DT. Okay, this is done. Okay, that's it. That's it. Now we have to create one class in this service layer. Okay, so let's name it as class. Okay, let's name it as employee service implementation. Okay, so I'm going to write the implementations of all these methods inside this employee service implementations. Okay, I can write it IMPL implementation or just IMPL. Okay, this will be fine. Okay, let's just create a class employee service implementation. Okay, so inside this employee service implementation, first thing
I'm going to use this as service layer, so here I'm going to use the annotation as service. Okay, this is done. Now inside this what we need to do. Okay, so this class, okay, implementation class, it is implements what, implements employee service. Okay, okay, so this is implementing my employee service. Okay, so here let me just write all as constructor. Okay, employee service. Then after this I am just going to write private and employee repository. Okay, from employee repository, let's name it as employee repository. Okay, this is done. Then inside this I am going to write one method. Okay, so let's name it as public, and employee DTO is going to be my return type. Okay, and I'm creating new employee. Okay, so I have to write this create new employee. Okay, create new employee, and inside this I'm just going to pass employee. Data is coming from employee DTO, right? Employee DTO, and here I'm just going to pass employee DTO, right? And inside this what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm writing this method. Okay, create new employee. Okay, so here I need to save the data. Okay, in my employee. Okay, in this entity I want to save the data. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to write employee and new employee. Okay, let's name it as new employee. Okay, and here I am just going to write employee mapper. Okay, I want to map the data. Okay, employee mapper, just call this employee mapper. Okay, and I'm just going to map the data to employee. Okay, so here I'm just going to call this method map to employee. Okay, so I want to map the data to employee now. Okay, map to employee, I'm calling this map to employee. Okay, so for this okay, map to employee. Okay, for this my return type is going to be employee only. Okay, map to employee, I'm calling this method, so it is just returning the employee, getting the data from employee DTO. Okay, all these things. So here I'm just going to write what employee DTO. Okay, so from here data is coming, right? Employee DTO. So this is done. Now after that I have to save this. So here I'm just going to write employee, and let's create one variable saved employee. Okay, and here inside this I this see, this is the repository, right? Employee repository, so it extends the JP repository. Okay, so here I have some methods like save the data, all that stuff. Okay, so here I'm just going to write go to this employee repository. Okay, and this in this employee repository save what, save the data that is coming from this new employee. Okay, so I'm just going to copy paste this here, new employee, that's it. Okay, this is done. Now return type is employee DTO. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to write return. Okay, and here I'm just going to call employee mapper. Okay, and then I'm just going to convert the data to employee DTO. Okay, what data I'm going to convert to employee DTO, I'm going to convert this saved employee data to employee DTO. Okay, so here I'm just going to write saved employee, that's it. Okay, that's it, that's what we need to write. Okay, this is done. Okay, so now once this is done, now let's go to the controller. Okay, this is my controller here. Okay, so now what is the purpose of this controller? Okay, so a controller handles the HTTP requests and the responses. Okay, it acts as an entry point for the client to interact with the application. Controllers are typically annotated with the at the rate arrest controller or controller. Okay, and map incoming request to service methods. Okay, so this is the purpose of this controller. Okay, so inside this controller I'm going to create a new class, new Java class, and I'm going to name it as employee controller. Okay, new Java class employee controller, I'm giving the name. Okay, so inside this what I'm going to do, I'm going to simple write one post method. Okay, this time I'm not going to do much as part of this video. So here first thing we need to give the annotation as at the rate rest controller. Okay, this is what we need to do. Okay, at the rate rest controller. Okay, so what is this at the rate rest controller? Okay, so this annotation marks the class as a Spring REST controller, meaning it will handle the HTTP requests and return a response in JSON or XML format. Okay, so it is a combination of at the rate controller and the response body. Okay, so after this I need to write a request mapping. Okay, annotation at the rate request mapping. Okay, and inside this request mapping I have to write / API. Okay, and write here employees. So what is this? So this annotation specifies the base URL for all the endpoints in this controller. Okay, so in this case any request starting with API employees will be pointed to the controller. Okay, okay, once this is done, then after that we need to write here, let's write all our constructor. Okay, all our constructor. Now inside this what we need to do, so let's write a simple postman. Okay, so first thing we need to interact with the employee service. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to write private, and here inside this I'm going to write employee service implementation. Okay, I have to check with this service layer now. So here this add the service annotation. Okay, so here I am giving this, and inside this I am just going to pass the employee service. Okay, that's it. So now after that what we need to do here, we have to write public. Okay, and response entity. Okay, so here just check for this response entity. Okay, this response entity. Okay, inside this I am going to pass the employee DTO. Okay, employee DTO, and after that I'm just going to call this method. Okay, since this is post mapping now, so here I'm writing create new employee. Okay, and inside this create new employee. Okay, so here I'm just going to write at the rate request body. Okay, so what is the purpose of this request body? So this request body helps in the bind, this annotation actually helps in binding the HTTP request body to the employer's DTO parameter. Okay, so this request body must contain the data in the JSON format, which is deserialized into the an employee DTO object. Okay, so inside this just going to write employee DTO. Okay, whatever the data is coming from employee DTO. Okay, let's name the variable as employee DTO, and here let's me specify it as this is nothing but my post method. Okay, post method. Okay, so inside this what we need to do, so let's see. Okay, so here I'm just going to call this employee DTO. Okay, so here I'm just going to create one variable saved employee. Okay, so how I'm saving the employee in my database. Okay, so here I'm just going to go to this employee service class. Okay, and in this I'm just going to call this method create new employee. Okay, so this is there in my employee service. Okay, so if you go this employee service implementation, okay, so here this is defined. Okay, create new employee. Okay, all this stuff. So here I'm just going to this, go here, create new employee, and here I'm just going to pass employee detail. Okay, this is done. Now after that I'm just going to return new response entity. Okay, and inside this I'm just going to pass the data of saved employee. Okay, it should be small, saved employee, and here I'm just going to http write http status dot created. That's it. Okay, now let's save it. Let me just pause this application. Okay, go to this EMS application, let's run it again. Okay, let's wait for some time. So application started. So now let's see, we are getting some issue, I think. Let's see that. Unable to start. Okay. Okay, so see here, we are getting the issue here now. So Spring data, why we have pasted wrong like this. So here let's correct this issue. I don't know when it got changed. So here Spring data source URL, here JDBC, type JDBC, give this URL now. This, yeah, JDBC h2, just let me just copy it. Okay, paste it here, and here just give the employee DB. Okay, this thing we need to paste it here. Name. Okay, this is wrong now. I don't know why it is like this. Okay, now this is done. Now let's run the application again and see if we are getting the same issue again. So see, our application started. Okay, so now let me just go here, and here just click enter, and now we are able to reach here. We test the connection. Test is successful. Now go to click on the connect. So here this is my employee DB. Okay, so here let me just run this query and see if there any data is there. Okay, so now using this post. Okay, so there is nothing right now. So here let me just send some request here. Okay, so status is 201 created. Okay, so now let's go here and just run this command. So see, one entry is there. Okay, first name is developer, last name is coder, email is there. Okay, so now if I send this data again, okay, so see here in my code, in my employee entity, I have written this. Okay, my uh, email should be unique. Okay, so if I send the same data again, okay, so let's say I am giving some developer one. Okay, so here let's say I'm writing developer one. Okay, names are different but email is same. So will this post request will be successful or not? No, it is not going to be successful. Why? Because we are sending the same email. Okay, so now instead of this coder, if I'm writing here, let's say developer. Okay, see last time if I just refresh, so no data is loaded. Okay, so now again if I just send it, okay, so now status 201 created. Okay, so now if I just go here and I run it again, so see so next entry is here. Okay, I am coder@gmail.com, and first name this one, last name this one. Okay, so I hope that you guys are able to understand this today's first lecture. Okay, so in the next lecture I am going to create a get mapping, okay, put mapping and delete mapping. Okay, all that stuff I'm going to do in my this controller. Okay, so I hope that you guys are able to understand today's lecture. Please share this video with your friends, and don't forget to like this video, and please subscribe my YouTube channel. Okay, thank you, bye bye, meet you guys in the next video.